I know that it's been in the news, and if you haven't been paying attention to the news, there's been a huge scandal going on about college admissions, specifically USC, excuse me, I said UFC. US.
University of Southern California.
Yep, University of Southern California has been really in the spotlight of this, specifically because Lori Laughlin? Is that how you say it? Lori Laughlin.
Lori Laughlin.
Yeah, I think it's Laughlin or Laughlin, however you say it.
And she's married to that Massimo bastard,
Yeah.
the Target fashion star.
Yeah, the guy who has his name in print all over Target clothing and everything like that. I think he's definitely got guap, and they definitely have guap. And
Massimo.
Yeah, Massimo and Lori. Yeah, fuck that dude too, man. Lori Laughlin is Aunt Becky from Full House, if you don't remember, and Fuller House.
Fuller House.
Yep.
She just got fired.
She just got kicked off. They already wrote her off. And if you don't know any of the story there, she and her husband have paid for her daughter to get into school. And I read that whole article is some bullshit because they put her on a bullshit ass team. They couldn't put her on like the women's volleyball team. They put her on the fucking crew team.
Hey, they had like this dude was like photoshopping pictures of her like in a boat and shit.
Right. Got her acting like she's a professional rower out here, bro.
Yo, but the story's funny. So not only Lori Laughlin, I mean, there was like CEOs of Fortune 500 companies involved in this. There was like, I think there was some billionaires, some hedge fund people in there, not only USC, but Yale, Stanford, other big name schools were all involved in the indictment. And the story is pretty crazy because this guy was basically a SAT testing kind of a program, like a SAT testing tutor. Yeah, this cat made over $35 million in the last year by getting people to cheat on SATs for you. They would take the test in your name. They would correct all your wrong answers to correct answers. They would pay off athletic departments in schools, including in USC. They got Olivia Jade, who is Lori Laughlin's and Massimo's daughter, who's also a Instagram influencer. Her story's a little interesting too. So Olivia Jade, as the indictment was going down, TMZ had photos of her on a yacht out on spring break, and the yacht belongs to the president of the school board at USC.
Yeah. Coming off the boat with these old crusty fuckers, dog. Just kind of the boat. Yeah, coming off the boat. They got it right as it was happening. So yeah, that's of course TMZ got everything. They like
the president of the school.
Yeah, the president of the school and the board. It wasn't just him; it was the board members as well, though. So I mean, it's pretty much everybody who makes the top decisions for their university. They were all on the boat coming off at the same time, and this girl was walking off too. And it just goes to prove the disparity of. Not only is it about racial half of the time, there's also the money disparity. And then if you're black and you don't have no money, just count that as a double against you. Imagine how many people, not even just black, but Asian, Mexican, whatever you are, who work their asses off for years and years trying to get to those schools and putting in applications, and they don't get even, looked at.
No, you don't get acknowledged.
Yeah, not at all. And it doesn't matter what you did. And for the people of the actual Americans who don't come from wealth, you got to work twice as hard to get where you can in this life. And you're already at a disadvantage, especially being a minority. And then add on to that the fact that you have no money. It's like, fuck, what do you do? And it's like, we really need to be looking at how do we put more people in the trade schools than these fucking universities, because that shit is just like everything else in this world, just like jobs and everything else. It's just like almost impossible to get there when you have all this cards stacked up against you.
Yeah, definitely. And it definitely is a race issue. Everyone I saw that was in this indictment was all white people. I mean, Felicity Huffman, she was some chick from Desperate Housewives, I guess. She's married to William H. Macy, who didn't get arrested or get caught up in this somehow.
Right.
But, basically they're paying their ways into these programs, into these schools. and people of color, people of, low income families. Obviously, if you're going in against Massimo's daughter, she's already got an edge on you anyway. Not only that, but she's got a perfect SAT score now. You're done. You have no
Exactly.
chance of doing it.
You have no chance of getting in, and they're putting her on a crew team where she gets a scholarship pretty much anyway, or she's pretty much a shoo-in because she's rowing boats, imaginary boats and shit.
And on the other end, these are public institutions as well. These
Right.
USC is subsidized by the state of California taxpayers.
Right. Not only is your tax money getting shelled out to a bunch of fucking kids who don't deserve it, didn't work for it. You're also paying tax money for those tests that didn't need to be taken and shit like that. All of that, all the above, that all adds up, and that's millions of dollars that just keeps adding up year over year. And there looks like there's a total of 33 students and parents who've all been caught up into this. And as you said, they're all white. There hasn't been anybody else of a different nationality of any sorts. They're all white Americans with more money. That's all it comes down to. It's just more money.
Yeah, it's terrible that it comes down to money, but obviously the elite is the wealthy class in the United States of America.
Right.
So, they run the show. Money talks in this environment. Money talks in this country. And, the advantage you have by being able to go to a school like USC or Yale or Stanford is not just even in the quality of education, but the networking and the people and connections that you can meet by becoming an alumni of such a school, and the deck stacked against you from even being able to get in here unless you bribe a coach or bribe the SAT dude. Like,
right. Exactly.
Bullshit.
And it just shows how far corruption goes in this country. I mean, from every standpoint of everything that goes on in this country, it's based off of some kind of just money, money or possessions or, liquid assets, any of those things. Those are the things that people are coming up off of. And they're just like, hey, I can turn this around and make this whatever. And you can buy off anybody. You can buy off any person that there is as long as you have the money.
Yeah, exactly. And so, fucking Aunt Becky paying off this dude $500,000 to get Olivia Jade into this school. And how many public school high school teachers would that $500,000 pay for a year?
Tons of them, man. You got to give them all. I mean, you can at least pay 10 teachers a little bit more or whatever based off of that. If you just split that up, over the course of a year.
She could have paid all of her daughter's high school teachers' salaries for a year if her daughter was even showing up to high school instead of just posing on these yachts for the gram.
It only makes me draw the question, was Becky giving that Becky? Because that's the only thing I could think of too that'll entice him. Because we got a lot of sick fucks who run shit, and they're just like, hey, do a little something strange, and I'll get your girl in for
like that.
For you.
That's the Forrest Gump meme, right? You seen the Forrest Gump memes?
No, which one?
It's got Forrest's mom, and she says she got him into school the old-fashioned way. Oh, yeah. He had to work for it, man. Aunt Becky didn't.
Yeah, Aunt Becky sure didn't.
Massimo might have put in some work, though. You don't know. Massimo Giannulli. Man.
Massimo putting in that work, too, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to see no free Massimo or free Aunt Becky. Bullshit.
Yeah, no, fuck all of that.
Because let's be real, this is white-collar crime, and we all know what happens to white-collar criminals, bro. Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. They might get a little bit of time, but it ain't shit. And if it is, they probably spend it in the community jail.
They'll get whatever that Martha Stewart got when she had that insider trading. I think they gave her 4 months of house arrest, and they basically said you couldn't leave your 20 million room mansion,
right?
Which was bigger than the jail anyway.
Right. I can walk around my house freely. I give a fuck. I ain't going nowhere. Bring this shit to me.
She got to do laps in her little 40-acre yard and shit.
Right. And she's probably got a mule too with that 40 acres.
Oh man, Martha got the mule.
For real, man. Oh man, this is. But just to again kind of touch on this, we make light of these situations, but it really affects a lot of people. And we try to make light of this situation because you can't just be angry about everything. You can, but it's only if you're going to do something about it. And in this situation, we don't know what's going to be done because who can really say anything? This is more money going up against money. These people probably won't get anything, done to them. They probably won't get any time. And if they do, it's going to be very minimal with, just like Paulie said, all the amenities of being a millionaire or a billionaire. You get those types of amenities where that shit doesn't matter. And, it's just wild, man, because there's so many people who are, the American dream has been told since, especially beating into the minorities and things like that, is you go to college, you get your education so you can get that good job to take care of your family and the generations after. And we've actually come to see that these fucking colleges are just like everything else. They're just like, they're more like kind of like a check cashing place. It's like you go get the money, you go get something temporary, but then it doesn't really help you in the long run. Like that's literally what check cashing does to you. And they get everybody like that. And it's not only just Black Americans or Mexicans or
low income American.
Yeah, low income American. They get you for the rest of your life, pretty much. That's pretty much what happens. They just get your ass for the rest of your life, and you're paying them back year after year. And it's just like you got to pay back all these people and all this money for what? This paper, all the loans and everything else. Is it really worth it? And that's what we need to really start looking at, because what practicality are these degrees doing for us Americans and even the middle Americans? It's like most people are fleeing those jobs anyway, and they're going to get something else, not even what they went to school for, because they can go get paid more to go do something else than what they went to school for.
Yeah, and I mean, unless you're getting a degree from one of these prestigious schools, if you're going to whatever community college or anything like that, it's not going to get you as far as these prestigious schools will.
Exactly. And I was actually reading an article about that, looking at these students specifically out of Kansas City. It's pretty much an all Black or all minority school. And the senior class, very small. It's only been a high school or a school that's been open for a couple of years, but there's 39 graduating seniors. All of them happen to be African American, and they're all going to college. All of them have at least received at least one offer to go to school. But it was terrible to look at, because these kids went to the school to try to get an opportunity, and the one specific person that they were reading up on, she accepted an offer to the University of Chicago. Obviously, when you hear that, it's still a university, but nobody is going to the University of Chicago. Like that's not the school that people go to in Illinois. If they're going to go to school, they're going to go to Illinois, the actual school.
Right. Or Loyola.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to the University of Chicago. They're probably a D3 school, NAIA school, not big for sports or anything like that. Who knows? They probably have even doctors in that motherfucker. But guess what? People are going to look at Stanford doctors, USC doctors, or whatever you're going for. That's what they're looking at. And she even said she applied for USC. So it just makes her feel as if what her hard work did to get to that point, to even be sending out offers and receiving an offer back, it just kind of throws that out the window, and it demeans you even further, because it's like, well, damn, this bitch didn't do nothing. They said that she was on a row team and hasn't picked up an oar in a day in her life. She probably didn't even know how to use that shit. And
no, she was on the. She didn't row herself to the Bahamas. She was on the yacht.
That's real shit. And it just takes the wind out of your sails when you've worked as hard as you did just to get there, and it doesn't pay off for you in that sense. And that's literally what we're seeing right now. And this is not the first time. I'm sure this has been happening all throughout time, especially in that if you come from a family of wealth. I know these schools, especially the Southern schools, it reminds me of like how all the Southern schools are a little bit. You watch those movies where they have like frat houses, kind of like Monster University, motherfucker, like some Disney. Like, they got the Sullivan, like he made it based off of his name. They got Sully on that bitch, and he just makes it based off of his name. Nothing. He didn't do anything in school. He didn't have all the skills on the paperwork side of it or none of that. He didn't do any of that shit. But he turned around and still made it to the school because of his dad. And that's the same shit that we see across the country, especially in these southern schools and everything else. That's what
like Van Wilder and shit.
Yeah, some Van Wilder shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's terrible to even have to compare it to like a Disney movie or Van Wilder, but it's real. It's what we see, and it's what's really happening in real time America.
But nothing's gonna change. This fucking lawsuit ain't gonna change anything.
No.
I'm reading here, they had 200 FBI agents involved. They charged 50 people in 6 states, and not a damn thing's gonna change. And do you know how I know that not a damn thing's gonna change? Because Adidas got caught buying NCAA college players for shoe contracts, signing them to schools, and not a damn thing changed.
Nope. I mean, a lot of the people who were kind of involved got fucked, but nobody else at the top.
Rick Pitino got shipped off to Greece.
Yeah, for real. Killed that man's career. It almost killed him too. Shit, I think he got like sick afterwards or something like that. So like that shit almost killed him too. And all he was doing was getting his players' dick sucked. So I mean,
yeah, but they paid that dude Bowen, right?
Yep.
They paid his dad some money. Adidas paid the money so that he would go to Louisville.
Yep.
And
I mean, it goes back when we were talking about Reggie Bush and
USC.
USC right there. You know, going back to those days, and they ended up vacating shit and everything like that just because.
Oh yeah. Hey, Vince Young vacated a title from them. That was beautiful. The Rose Bowl, that was a beautiful game.
It sure was. And then I think he ended up getting in trouble in Texas and got Texas fucked on that too. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he did something. They came back afterwards. He was skipping classes and shit like that. I mean, it goes on in every sport, man. It's in every sport. But it's just another story of corruption, even in these institutions that's supposed to have the highest held positions in these country and NCAA
that your tax dollars are paying for.
Yeah, your taxes are going to. That's the worst part of it all. Is all your taxes, all the money that you spend that comes out of your check is going to these colleges and these schools, and people are just getting by. And some of these people, especially these athletes, ain't even going to class. Like you can just get your degree by just playing a sport there, and it doesn't matter. But guess who's paying for that? Not you. You as the middle class American, but not the person who went to school for it. They didn't have to pay a dime, and it's just like, damn, here's all these stories that are just coming up, and it's getting worse and worse, man. At least people are getting called out about their shit. I do like that.
But the biggest bullshit is there's $2,000 tickets to this game with Duke in North Carolina, and sells out. Obama's there. He got his ticket. The kids get paid nothing.
Yeah, they got nothing out of that. The schools made shit ton of money for those games.
Where's that money going? Not to the kids, not to the people that are actually putting the butts in the seats selling those tickets.
Right. And it's definitely not going back to the community, because I know I got family out in Raleigh-Durham area, and they talk about how much these schools don't even be a part of these communities, even though that they are in the communities 10 miles apart from each other. So that is Raleigh and Durham, and they're pretty much together, and they don't even be out in the community like that. So really, where is your taxpayer dollars going? It's going to these coaches' salaries and these AD salaries and chancellor salaries and all these motherfuckers.
Exactly. I mean,
it's like a corporation, man. It's just like a corporation as any other place that you look at in the world or in the country.
Yeah, look it up. In most of the states in the U.S., the highest paid state, like tax-funded employee, is either a college basketball or a college football coach.
Absolutely. They make millions of dollars. Yeah. They make millions of dollars.
They make more than your governor.
Right.
They make more than probably half your senators combined.
Right. Well, the ones that aren't taking deals, yeah. The ones who ain't taking nobody's cut, for real.
Nick Saban's getting paid, like.
Oh yeah, that dude's got. He's the highest paid coach. Shit, I think he makes even more than some of these NBA coaches. I'm pretty sure he makes more money than some of these NBA coaches.
I guarantee you, he makes more than some NBA coaches, some NFL coaches.
Absolutely,
he's got to get paid more than. Oh, what is that dude that the Jets just signed? He's the Dolphins coach.
Oh yeah, Adam Gase.
Adam Gase, yeah. He definitely gets paid more than Adam Gase. He's got to.
For sure. And that cross-eyed looking fucker, boy. I tell you, boy can't even see straight.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a tough game, but he's getting paid millions of dollars. I can't hate on the man. Shout out to them Gase. I hope y'all enjoying these segments. Please subscribe. Please like, share, and all of that good stuff.
Like, share, subscribe, love. Leave us a 5-star rating.